Did you know that most millionaires don't live in mansions, don't drive luxury cars, and don't wear designer clothes? In fact, the richest people in America often live right next door to you, quietly building wealth while everyone else spends it. The Millionaire Next Door reveals the shocking truth about what real millionaires look like, and it's nothing like the Hollywood image of wealth. Introduction: Why this book matters. The Millionaire Next Door by Thomas J. Stanley and William D. Danko is not just a book about how to get rich, it's a deep study of the habits, lifestyles, and mindsets of America's millionaires. Published in 1996, it broke many myths people had about wealth. Before this book, most assumed millionaires drove luxury cars, lived in mansions, and flaunted their wealth. Stanley and Danko's research revealed a very different reality. Most millionaires lived modestly, managed money wisely, and avoided flashy spending. This discovery shocked readers because it went against the cultural image of wealth. The truth is, wealth is not about how much you spend, but how much you keep and grow. That's the essence of the book. The central theme is simple. You can't judge wealth by appearance. Real millionaires often live quietly in ordinary neighborhoods, drive used cars, and value financial independence over status. About the authors. Thomas J. Stanley was a professor of marketing and a researcher on consumer behavior. He dedicated much of his career to studying the habits of wealthy individuals. William D. Danko was also a researcher with expertise in wealth and consumer behavior. Together, they wanted to understand: who are the real millionaires in America? How do they accumulate wealth? What habits separate them from people who only look rich? Their goal wasn't just academic. They wanted to give everyday people a roadmap for building real wealth. The research approach. Stanley and Danko didn't rely on guesses or stereotypes. They conducted surveys and interviews with hundreds of millionaires across the United States. They studied their spending patterns, investment choices, lifestyles, and even how they raised their children. Their research found that millionaires typically 1. Lived well below their means. 2. Allocated their time, energy, and money efficiently. 3. Believed that financial independence was more important than showing off social status. 4. Raised children to be economically self-sufficient. 5. Were disciplined investors and savers. This wasn't just theory, it was backed by hard numbers and real stories. The main idea of the book. The big lesson is: most real millionaires are not flashy. They are disciplined savers and investors who live in modest neighborhoods, drive average cars, and quietly build wealth over time. In fact, the authors coined the term PAW, prodigious accumulator of wealth, to describe people who build wealth steadily, and UAW, under-accumulator of wealth, to describe people who earn a lot but save little. PAWs often earn less than flashy professionals but save and invest wisely, becoming wealthy over time. UAWs often earn high incomes, doctors, lawyers, executives, but spend heavily on luxury cars, large homes, and status symbols, leaving them with little actual wealth. The shocking truth. Many people with high incomes are not wealthy. And many wealthy people do not have high incomes. This flips conventional wisdom upside down. Breaking the myths about millionaires. The book dismantles common misconceptions. Myth 1: millionaires inherit their money. Reality: most are self-made and first-generation wealthy. Myth 2: millionaires drive luxury cars and live in mansions. Reality: many drive used Fords, Toyotas, or Hondas and live in middle-class neighborhoods. Myth 3: millionaires are flashy spenders. Reality: they are frugal, value quality over brand, and avoid status-driven spending. Myth 4: millionaires are geniuses or financial wizards. Reality: they are disciplined, consistent, and practice simple money management habits. The Millionaire Next Door lifestyle. Imagine a typical, next-door millionaire. He or she probably lives in a quiet, average neighborhood, not a gated community. Their house is nice but not extravagant. Their car is reliable, often used, and fully paid off. They budget carefully, avoid debt, and invest long-term. They prioritize financial security over showing off. This image is powerful because it redefines what wealth actually looks like. Key framework introduced. One of the most important frameworks the book introduces is the calculation of expected wealth versus actual wealth. The authors suggest: to know if you're on track, multiply your age by your pre-tax income, then divide by 10. That number is your expected net worth. Example: if you're 40 years old and make $100,000 per year, 40 times $100,000 equals $4 million divided by 10 equals $400,000. If your actual net worth is much higher, you're a PAW. If it's lower, you're likely a UAW. This formula helps people see if they're living in line with wealth-building habits. Why this book resonates. When the book was first published, many people saw themselves in the descriptions of UAWs, working hard, making good money, but struggling to save. At the same time, the pause inspired readers by showing that ordinary people with discipline could quietly accumulate wealth. It gave people hope and a practical strategy. Live below your means. Save and invest consistently. Avoid lifestyle inflation. Teach your kids financial discipline. The 7 common traits of millionaires. Through their surveys and interviews, Stanley and Denko identified 7 core behaviors that almost all millionaires share. These habits are the foundation of the book. 1. They live well below their means. Millionaires aren't big spenders. They avoid status symbols and luxury goods unless they genuinely provide long-term value. Most of their income is saved or invested, not spent on consumption. 2. They allocate their time, energy, and money efficiently. Instead of focusing on appearing rich, they focus on planning, budgeting, and investing. They spend time learning about finance and making smart money decisions. 3. They believe financial independence is more important than social status. Millionaires don't care about impressing neighbors or friends. Their priority is freedom, not appearances. 4. Their parents did not provide economic outpatient care. Millionaires rarely received heavy financial support from their parents. They learned independence early and built wealth through discipline. 5. Their adult children are economically self-sufficient. Millionaires avoid spoiling their kids. Instead, they encourage responsibility and financial discipline. 6. They are proficient in targeting market opportunities. Many millionaires are entrepreneurs or small business owners. They spot gaps in the market and work consistently to fill them. 7. They chose the right occupation. Millionaires tend to work in fields that align with long-term wealth building, not just high salaries. Often, these are small businesses, medical practices, or niche industries where consistency beats flash. Chapter by chapter breakdown, core ideas. Chapter 1, Meet the Millionaire Next Door. The book begins by painting a picture of the real millionaire. Forget Hollywood stereotypes, these people don't show off. Most live in modest neighborhoods. They wear practical clothing, not designer brands. Their cars are often several years old. They don't waste money trying to look rich. A key finding. More than half of America's millionaires live in neighborhoods where the average household income is below $75,000 per year. This proves that wealth is often invisible. The people flaunting expensive lifestyles are rarely the ones with true financial freedom. Chapter 2, Frugal, Frugal, Frugal. If there's one word that defines millionaires, it's frugality. Millionaires track expenses carefully. They stick to budgets. They view every purchase as a long-term trade-off. Will this bring value, or is it just for show? Many buy used cars, live in homes below their means, and shop with practicality in mind. The point isn't being cheap, it's being strategic with money. Frugality is the foundation of wealth building. Without it, even high earners will struggle to build net worth. Chapter 3, Time, Energy, and Money. Millionaires don't just manage money, they manage their time and priorities. They dedicate hours to planning investments, retirement, and business growth. They avoid wasting time on things that don't build wealth. They delegate tasks that aren't worth their time, focusing energy on what truly matters. The authors stress: wealth is built not only by how much you earn but by how effectively you use your resources. This means being intentional with spending, investing, and even career choices. Chapter 4, You Aren't What You Drive. A major myth about wealth is that millionaires drive luxury cars. The research showed the opposite. The most popular car brand among millionaires at the time: Ford. Other common brands: Toyota, Honda, and Jeep. Only a small fraction drove luxury vehicles like BMWs or Mercedes. Why? Because cars are depreciating assets. Buying a flashy car only reduces net worth. Millionaires would rather invest that money where it grows. This is a key example of how millionaires think long-term. They'd rather have financial independence than short-term status. Chapter 5, Economic Outpatient Care, EOC. This chapter introduces the concept of EOC, financial help provided by wealthy parents to their adult children. Many parents believe giving their kids money will help them succeed. In reality, it often backfires, creating dependency and weakening financial discipline. The book argues: giving adult children too much financial support teaches them to spend rather than save. Millionaires who built wealth themselves usually did so without parental handouts. They learned discipline early and passed that lesson on to their kids. Chapter 6, Affirmative Action, Family Style. Millionaires often have children who are self-sufficient and financially responsible. Why? Because they emphasize education, discipline, and independence rather than money gifts. They provide tools, like financial advice or business guidance, but they avoid enabling wasteful habits. This chapter highlights that building a wealthy family culture isn't about inheritance, it's about teaching responsibility. Find your niche. One of the most surprising discoveries in the book is how millionaires earn their wealth. They are not usually celebrities, high-flying executives, or lottery winners. Instead, most millionaires are small business owners, professionals in niche fields, or people who quietly built expertise in specialized industries. The authors point out that millionaires often choose occupations where they can control their income and expenses, and where competition is limited. Examples: owning a pest control business, running a small manufacturing company, operating a local chain of dry cleaners, managing real estate rentals. These careers might not sound glamorous, but they often generate steady income and strong profit margins. And because these people avoid flashy spending, their wealth compounds over decades. The key message: wealth isn't about working in the prestige professions, it's about choosing fields where you can steadily accumulate and keep money. Chapter 8, Jobs versus Wealth. The authors highlight the difference between high income and high net worth. Many doctors, lawyers, and executives earn large salaries, but they are also some of the most likely to be UAWs, under-accumulators of wealth, because they spend heavily to maintain a status image. Meanwhile, many small business owners with modest incomes end up with higher net worths because they save aggressively and invest wisely. The point is clear. Income doesn't equal wealth. What matters is how much of your income you keep and grow. Chapter 9, The Millionaire's Investments. When it comes to investing, millionaires follow a consistent approach. 1. They prioritize safety and long-term growth. Most millionaires avoid speculation and get-rich-quick schemes. They invest in real estate, retirement accounts, index funds, and their own businesses. 2. They plan carefully. Millionaires spend time researching investments. They work with accountants, financial planners, and advisors, but they remain deeply involved in decision-making. 3. they value consistency over excitement. Unlike many UAWs, they don't chase the hottest stock tips or trends. Their wealth comes from boring, steady, and disciplined investing. The book emphasizes: millionaires don't gamble, they build. Chapter 10, Raising the Next Generation. A powerful section of the book focuses on how millionaires raise their children. Millionaires teach financial responsibility from a young age. They encourage hard work, savings, and self-reliance. They avoid giving large financial gifts that could create dependency. They provide education and opportunities, but not luxury lifestyles. This is one of the most important lessons: wealth isn't just about money, it's about values. Passing down good financial habits is more valuable than leaving behind a big inheritance. Final lessons from The Millionaire Next Door. 1. Wealth is built quietly. The richest people aren't the ones showing off. They are the ones living below their means, investing consistently, and avoiding unnecessary debt. 2. Discipline beats income. It doesn't matter how much you make if you can't control how much you spend. Wealth is about what you keep, not what you earn. 3. Frugality is freedom. Millionaires are not cheap, but they are intentional. Every dollar is directed toward freedom, not status. 4. Self-sufficiency is key. Millionaires don't rely on parents, handouts, or constant financial support. They build independence and teach it to their children. 5. Choose careers strategically. Many millionaires are self-employed or in specialized fields. They choose occupations that allow steady wealth building rather than chasing prestige. 6. Invest wisely, not flashily. Millionaires prefer boring, consistent investments: real estate, retirement funds, index funds, and businesses they understand. 7. Legacy is about habits, not just money. True wealth is passing down the mindset of financial responsibility, not just the bank account. Conclusion: what this book means for you. The Millionaire Next Door is more than just a study, it's a roadmap. It shows that wealth is not out of reach for ordinary people. It doesn't require genius, luck, or massive income. Instead, it requires frugality, consistency, long-term vision, and the discipline to live below your means. The key takeaway is simple but life-changing. If you want to be wealthy, stop trying to look rich. Start focusing on building financial independence quietly, just like the millionaires next door. So, what does the Millionaire Next Door teach us? That wealth isn't loud, it's quiet. It doesn't scream from luxury cars and designer suits. It whispers through financial freedom, through security, through the ability to say no to things that don't matter. If you want to be wealthy, stop trying to impress people who don't care about you. Start focusing on your future self, your family, and the freedom money can buy when managed wisely. The millionaires in this book aren't superheroes. They're people just like you and me. The difference? They lived with discipline, made smart financial choices, and valued independence over image. And the best news? You can start today. The next millionaire might just be you, the millionaire next door.